Good day, I am Mikel Roldones, and for my first laboratory exercise in data communications and networking 2, I was tasked to configure a switch, and obviously I am not too experienced in this, and therefore I will follow the module, although I have also done my due diligence, and watched tutorials on YouTube. So let's get right. Okay, so step one of the of our switch configuration is to obviously double click the switch and find the CLI tab. So we will do just that, and then I need to enter privileged exec mode in order to access all the switch iOS commands. Now we will do that just that. Okay, so enable, then show running config. Okay, so you can see the running configurations over here, and it is 1080 bytes. Now let's show the startup configuration after we get through all these ports. Okay, show startup, show startup config. That's correct. Startup configuration is not yet present, and we will edit that right now. So, but first, let us check our other interfaces. So, the laboratory activity asks us to check the interface VLAN1, and we will do just that. Okay, so that is in the interface of VLAN1. Now let's check the IP interface of VLAN1. And it says that it is down. Now let's check the version, the iOS version being used here, and the version is 15.0. Next, let us check the interface of F06 or our 6th fast Ethernet port on the switch, since that is what our PCA is connected to. So show interface F06. Yep, fast Ethernet is up. Fast Ethernet is up, sorry. And once again, we will do show VLAN. Hold on for a second. Okay, so most of what I am seeing over here as I try to see the settings, to examine the settings of our various ports, including our VLAN, these are expected settings, the expected stock settings of our switch. So I will go through the others. First one is show flash, and then dir flash. So that is the directory of flash. There is one over here, and it ends in a bin.bin. Okay. Now it is time for us to configure our basic switch setting over here. And the first thing that we will do is obviously to enter privileged exec mode. So we will do the enable command again, but let me exit this first. Enable. And then I will type in the commands of configure terminal, after which I will type in hostname S1, and it changes the name of our switch, or the host name of our switch, to S1. So from there, we can configure our service password, or the password, in order to configure the settings of our switch in privileged exec. So service password encryption, and enable secret, and this is the password, the initial password, in order to enter the privileged exec mode. So it is class, enable secret class, no IP domain lookup banner banner MOTD and unauthorized access is strictly prohibited. Okay, then we can exit this. And it has been configured as we can see from the confirmation message over here. So now all we need to do is exit all of these configuration settings and go back to the start of our CLI so we can test if the password actually works. So exit S1 enable, and our password is CLASS. It won't show over here, but we'll type it in and it accepts our password. So the next step that is stated in this laboratory module is to enter global configuration mode. And to do that, we need to change the management of VLAN to a VLAN other than VLAN 1. So in this module, I was tasked to use VLAN 99, and that is exactly what I'm going to do by typing it over here in our configuration settings. So configure terminal. Okay, just config VLAN 99. We'll enter that command. Exit interface VLAN 99. This time VLAN 99 is connected, and as we type that, the interface of VLAN 99 has been changed to up from down. So now we will enter the IP address assigned in the module for our VLAN 99. So yes, let us continue doing so. Press 192.168.1.2, and then we will type in our subnet mask, which is 255.255.255.0, and there, no shutdown, so that the interface or the port will not shut down. And now we can exit. Okay, now let us go to let us try to assign all user ports to VLAN 99. So interface range F0. These are all the fast Ethernet ports on our switch, since our switch is a 2960/2040. So let us assign all them to VLAN 99. F01 to 24. Hold on. Switch port access VLAN 99. Okay, so all of them are up, and that is a good sign. And now we can exit this configuration. Now we have exited it, so that is good. All right. So let us check to see if they are actually assigned to VLAN 99. That is the next task stated in the module. So we will try to confirm if it is indeed assigned. But first, let us exit configuration mode. Hold on. Show. Let's type in this command. Show in VLAN brief. And there. As we can see, all of these ports have been assigned. The fast Ethernet ports have been assigned to VLAN 99. And as such, our configuration is so far successful. So now let us configure the IP gateway for switch 1. And we will do just that since our IP has been stated over here. So we will do this. We will repeat the configure terminal command, but we can shorten it to config t. So now we are asked to enter the configuration commands, and we will do just that. IP default gateway 192.168.1.1, right? Line 0 password Cisco, and this is the password for configuring our switch. Once that happens, once we reset that, it will ask us to enter this password Cisco in order to configure our switch before we enter the other password, which is class, which is to enter privileged accept. So let's do this. This is our configuration or login password. Logging synchronous exit line 50. And now we have configured the password for logging into our switch. So next up, since we have completed the first part in our configuration of the switch, let us now move on to our PCA, and let us assign its default gateway and its fast Ethernet, its IP address basically. So we will do just that, and also its subnet mask, but that will automatically generate. So let us do just that. So now that I have configured my PC, I enter the show run command back in the CLI of the switch in order to check the running configuration of my S1 switch. And so far, all of it is as expected. And now I will check the interface VLAN 99 to see if the same can be said about it. And yes, the same can be said about our VLAN 99, and it is alright. It is working fine. But now let us go back to our PC and ping our own IP address from the command prompt of the PC. So we will do just that. Ping 192.68. And here we can see our PC, the status of our IP address. And as we can see over here, there have been four packets sent, and all of them were received, and none of them were lost. And these are the approximate round trip times in milliseconds shown over here. That is uh, the ping is basically the simulation of the sending of data packets to our IP address, or the one on the PC. But now we will try to access the SB management address, or the IP address of our switch 1 or S1, and we will do just that right now by pinging 192.168.1.2, and let us see what it shows us. Now, as we can see, request timed out because PCA wasn't able to resolve the MAC address of S1. So we will have to do just that by testing and verifying the remote management of S1. So in this section of the lab module, I am asked to configure the IP address of the switch through the command prompt on the computer. So we will do just that. Telnet 192.168.1.2, and yes, um, from here we will be able to access our switch, and obviously we will have to type in the passwords that we set in our configuration a while ago. So I typed in Cisco, enable, and now we can go into privilege exec mode. And yes, from here we will have to copy the running configuration um, on our PC in order to um, to save the settings for the MAC address of our S1 over here on our PC. So let us do just that. And as we can see over here, after I type the copy running config startup config command over here on our command prompt, the configuration build was a success, and thus we will determine now whether the MAC address that the switch has learned, or is the MAC address of our PC is present on the switches directory. So now we will go back to our PC, our command prompt on our PC, and we will issue the command ipconfig all. Now, unfortunately, while I was typing the command ipconfigure all, the computer or the command prompt responded that the computer address or the MAC address of this computer was unable to be found. So first I typed in the command show MAC address table, and it showed me the MAC address of VLAN 99, which is 00E0.AF34.C6B3, and it is a dynamic type and not a static type. So now we will do the same to the other options of the other show MAC address table options. The first of them being the question mark. So this means that any option can be chosen from this command, the show MAC address table question mark command, and we will now type it in. So it asks us to show any type of table. So we can we can choose dynamic, interfaces, or static. But I pressed enter while I was talking, so it showed we just repeated the VLAN showing us the VLAN address that was already etched into the table a while ago. So I will have to type the command again. And this time I selected dynamic, and as we can see over here, it just copied the same MAC address that was already in the table, since it was a dynamic type anyway. So now it is time for us to set up our static MAC address, since we already have a dynamic MAC address. And for this one, the laboratory asks us to use the MAC address that is already on our PCA. So we will have to go to the configuration and find it over here on the settings, or the global part of our, or the fast Ethernet part of our PCA. So as we can see, the MAC address is over here, and that is the MAC address that we will use or configure as a static MAC address, since our IP configuration is static anyway. So definitely we will need a static MAC address. So let us do just that with our switch. So let me get this out of the way. On our command prompt in the PC, we will now have to type in the configuration for our MAC address. So let us press that, and I'll select config, let's say terminal. Okay, time to enter the configuration commands. So now that I have entered the commands for configuring our static MAC address, I am now supposed to repeat the MAC address command for showing the command for to input the command for showing our MAC address table to confirm if it has been entered into the system. And as we can see from dynamic, our MAC address for our PC has now been changed to static type, and that means that our the intended outcome of the laboratory module has been a success in this demonstration of mine. So now we are assigned to remove the static MAC address from the table, the MAC address of our PC. But how do we do that? Well, we have to type in this command over here, which I will do right now. No MAC address. So let me enter the config t first. Config t. Sorry, I mistyped over there. Config t. No MAC address. Table static 00E0.8F34 C6B3 VLAN 99 interface fast Ethernet 06. And now that we have entered that, we will once again use our show MAC address command in order to see if it has been removed from the table. And it is a success. Our MAC address is once again listed as a dynamic, and that concludes our rather lengthy and obviously a little bit rambling but a little bit rambling demonstration, but in the end, it was a successful demonstration and overall a successful first laboratory activity in data communications and networking. So, thank you for watching. I hope you were able to get through my ramblings and understand what I was trying to do in configuring a switch, and hopefully, you will take an initiative to do the same and learn if you want to get into networking or the basics of network. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.